And welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today. I haven't been here in 13 years. So my husband and I attended here for a couple years before we moved back to Phoenix. So I just want to, first I want to start off with something. To get me started here. So as you listen to that single sound, perhaps you notice something. You can still hear it. It's vibrating. It's continuing to vibrate, resonating, and filling this room with that sound. And this is a simple picture of spirit itself, God's presence, like sound. It's everywhere. It moves through us, and it is infinite resonance. I'm going to just move that over just a little bit. So today we're talking about sacred resonance, awakening through sound. Resonance is more than music. It's the language of the soul. It is the divine frequency that restores balance when we're weary, uplifts us when we're burdened, and reminds us of our eternal connection with spirit. So the definition of resonance is the quality in a sound of being deep, full, and reverberating. The ability to evoke or suggest images, memories, and emotions. So just as sound waves shape water, shape sand, or the air around us, our thoughts and words shape our reality, don't they? Right? Yeah. We live in a vibrational universe. And sacred sound is one of the most direct ways that we can experience that truth. So we know that higher vibration words such as love and peace and joy and beauty are high on the vibration scale. And words like guilt and shame and hate are low on the vibration scale. Now, Masaru Emoto demonstrated that in his book, The Hidden Messages in Water. He found that crystals formed in frozen water were vibrant and colorful and symmetrical when exposed to beautiful words and loving words and caring words, love and beauty and peace. Whereas when the crystals were exposed to negative words, low vibration words, the lowest on the scale, like hate and shame and blame and things like that, they were asymmetrical and really dull in their colors. But here's the question. If sacred resonance is always available, always present, why do we sometimes lose touch with it? What keeps us from hearing it, from living in that divine harmony? So that's what I want to explore today. Today we're going to look at three things. Why sacred resonance is important, what stops us from applying it in our daily lives, and also, most importantly, what are we going to do about it? So, and when we're done, we won't just talk about resonance. You're going to carry that with you as you leave today and carry on your life this week and so on. And then after service today, you'll have an opportunity to experience more sacred resonance with my crystal bowls, my gong, chimes, and ocean drum and flute. So I'm very excited to do that today. So why is sacred resonance important? Resonance is vibration, and vibration is life. And from the beating of our hearts to the rhythm of our breath, the spin of the planets, and everything that is moving, the patterns of sound and frequency are with us all the time. sound and vibration and frequency are all part of our lives. Sacred resonance reminds us that we are not separate from this universal symphony. We're all part of it. We are instruments in the orchestra of creation, each with our own unique tone, yet harmonizing in God's greater song. So the mystics knew this. Hazrat Inyat Khan was a Sufi mystic, and he said, divine sound is the cause of all manifestation. The knower of the mystery of sound knows the mystery of the whole universe. Do you want to know the mystery of the whole universe? Yeah. Stephen Halpern teaches that music has the power to bypass the thinking mind and speak directly to the heart and soul. And it's there that the deepest healing begins. Science of mind affirms this truth. The creative process teaches us that thoughts, words, and beliefs are vibrational. They go forth into the law and return as form. Ernest Holmes tells us, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. That is resonance in action. So when we allow sound to move through us consciously, it becomes more than a vibration. It becomes prayer. Each tone, each heartbeat, each breath becomes an expression of the divine life. So why do we want to talk about sacred resonance? Well, because in a world that often feels chaotic and discordant, resonance calls us back to wholeness. Sound, when approached as sacred, realigns us with Spirit's vibration, harmony, peace, and love. And I think you've already experienced that here today with Jackson and Celia and their beautiful music. It's just fantastic. That is sacred resonance. So think about it. Have you ever heard, you probably have this morning, have you ever heard a piece of music that brought tears to your eyes? And not because of the lyrics, but because of the vibration, that powerful vibration of that music that just touched your heart and soul. Or maybe you sat quietly in nature, listening to the wind or the waves or the sounds of the birds, and felt your whole being settle into peace. That is sacred resonance too. Now, lately I've had some pretty phenomenal experiences with geese flying over my house. And not, because their honking, to me, is just magical. There's just something about their honking that I just can't get enough of. And I love them. So every morning, I go out in the patio with my dog, Dojo. And Dojo is a Belgian Malinois Husky. And so he is quite active. He likes to run. He likes to guard the fence. He likes to jump and dig and all kinds of things. So, but one morning, I heard geese off in the distance. And I'm like, oh, cool, yes, geese. So I grabbed my phone, ready to take a picture, and they were way off in the west. And I could barely see them over the fence. And then as if they said, oh, we want to come and say hello, they turned. I mean, they were already past me. They turned, like they made a U-turn, and they flew directly over my head. And I'm sitting there, Dojo is sitting there too, in total awe. I've never seen him so quiet outside looking at birds. As soon as they passed my house, as soon as they flew overhead, they resumed their course and headed south again, as if they just wanted to say hi. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had like chills like that whole morning, and I couldn't wait to tell somebody. It's like, oh, you'll never see, guess what I saw? And I did get a couple pictures, although I was so excited that one of them I had my finger over the lens, so, oh well. What are you going to do? So let's close our eyes and take a breath for a minute. And just breathe in and exhale. Now that vibration that you felt as the air moving in and out of your lungs, that is resonance too. Every inhale, every exhale is a divine conversation. So we want to talk about it because it's just not out there, it's within us, always. So sound and vibration healing is one of the most tangible ways that we can experience sacred resonance, not just a concept, but as a living embodied truth. When we immerse ourselves in sound, whether from crystal bowls, Himalayan bowls, a gong, or the vibration of our own voice, the body begins to remember its natural frequency. It's an innate state of harmony. So everything in creation vibrates. Every cell, every atom, every emotion carries a frequency. When we hear or feel resonant tones, our bodies instinctively begin to entrain or match that frequency. The heartbeat, the breath, even our brain waves start to synchronize. In that state, we move into coherence. And you've probably heard, if you ever follow Heart Math Institute, you probably have heard a lot about heart coherence and that how we can be in coherence with others based on the heart, our beating of our heart. So spiritually speaking, sound healing is a prayer expressed through tone. Each vibration is a wordless affirmation of truth, a remembrance that we are divine beings in constant communion with the infinite. Now, many people describe feeling lighter, calmer, or deeply emotional during sound healing. Tears sometimes arise, and not from sadness, but from release. They feel this incredible release of whatever they're carrying during that time. And it's if the heart suddenly remembers what peace feels like. The vibration doesn't push or force. It gently invites energy to move, emotions to soften, and the soul to come home to itself. Just a minute here. Now, this might be called, you might refer to this as the law of responding to the vibration of our thoughts. When we offer vibration infused with love and conscious intention, then healing becomes inevitable, just like the water crystals. Through sacred sound, we're not merely listening, we are participating in creation. The bowls, the gong, the flute, all become instruments in consciousness. Their vibrations move through and around us, sending ripples of coherence into the collective field. And so when we are in coherence and when we are expressing that high vibration of those beautiful words like love, peace, joy, beauty, and all that, then that has a ripple effect on everyone that we meet. As we lift our vibrations, we lift those of others too. Now, it has been said that the gong alone reaches every one of our 37 trillion cells in our bodies. Now, I'm not sure who counted them, but that's what they say. So every one of your 37 trillion cells in your body can be touched by the simple gong. And they say if you expose yourself to the gong 10 minutes a day, then you will experience some profound healing. So Rumi said There is a voice that doesn't use words. Listen. The voice is the hum of God within all things, and sound healing allows us to hear it again. When we allow these vibrations to wash through us, when we speak words of love, when we listen to with our hearts, we become living instruments of divine harmony, and that is sacred resonance. So if resonance is always present, what gets in the way? So while we live in a world of constant overstimulation, phones buzzing, endless emails, breaking news reports, and a flood of social media posts that create an atmosphere of noise that rarely stops unless we get away from it. Some of it is heavy, like seeing announcements of death or divisive political rants. How many of you are guilty of watching the divisive political rants? So other times, it's simple, meaningless clutter that leaves us asking, what? What is that? In the midst of all this chatter, the subtle voice of spirit, that still small voice, becomes so easily drowned out. Sometimes we don't realize how much this noise affects our energy. We start to vibrate with the same anxious frequency of those that we're watching. It's not that spirit has stopped, but that we have stopped listening, and that we need to be quiet to hear. So this is precisely the reason why I don't watch the news. So I'm one of those people that, you say, did you hear about what happened in the Middle East? I'm like, no. And I really don't want to, because I want to keep myself in tune. I want to keep myself in tune. So sometimes it's unavoidable, like when I'm watching hilarious Belgian Malinois videos, because they are quite funny. And I go, oh, he does that. So next is the static of our own voice, the ego. The ego loves distraction. It loves distortion. It thrives on doubt and fear and comparison and the false story that we are not enough. And if we listen to it long enough, we start to believe it. But these are not the truths of spirit. They're only interference, like background noise, static, that blocks us from hearing the deeper resonance of divine love that's always available to us. And of course, there are heavy emotions of life: grief, sorrow, heartache. From my own journey, after my husband Dave passed away a few years ago, I know what it's like to feel as though resonance has disappeared. Feels like all I'm hearing is static and noise. So it took me a while to realize that, Spirit's always with me. There's no place where God is not, and it's right here in this heap of what. But I pulled it together. So finally, one of the greatest challenges that we face is disconnection from stillness. We have been conditioned to measure our worth by our productivity. How many boxes did we check off on our list? How much did we accomplish? How busy are we? Have you ever said, when someone asked you how you were today, you'd say, "Oh, I'm so busy." Well, that's not sacred resonance. So in striving to be productive, we have forgotten the sacred practice of simply being. Yet sacred resonance not only does not live in endless activity, It reveals itself in stillness. To hear it, we must stop and listen. We must pause and breathe and open ourselves to the quiet presence of Spirit. So Rumi reminds us, try to accept the changing seasons of your heart, even if you've never heard spring inside you before. Sometimes our inner season feels like winter, bare, cold, silent, but spring or resonance is still there waiting to emerge. So if you have a piano left untuned, it still makes sound, but the notes clash a little bit, don't they? So you have to keep it tuned. You have to do the same thing with yourself. You have to keep yourself tuned up. So what are we going to do about it? Well, the good news is that resonance can be restored. Spirit is always present, always vibrating. And our task is to consciously tune in. So one of the simplest, profound ways to return to resonance is through presence. And I don't mean Christmas and birthdays. No. I'm talking about being present. Taking even a few minutes each day to pause, to breathe, and rest in silence, to realign with Spirit and God's vibration. Presence is about being fully here without rushing to the next task or replaying the past. How many of you replay your past stories over and over and over again? So sacred listening goes beyond hearing with the ears. It's an opening of the whole body and soul. It's paying attention to the vibration of the wind, the rhythm of your heartbeat, or the stillness between sounds. The Quakers call this listening to the light. I like that, listening to the light. A deep receptivity to Spirit's presence in all things. When we listen this way, we notice resonance in places we might otherwise overlook, even silence itself. Listening becomes a form of prayer. So sacred resonance isn't limited to bowls, flutes, gongs, or other musical instruments, though these are very powerful tools. It also lives in the words that we choose, the prayers that we speak, the chants that we sing, and the affirmations that we declare. From Isaiah 55:11, the word going forth from the mouth of God will not return void. Every word carries power. Every word carries vibration. By speaking with love and intention, we tune ourselves and those around us to Spirit's harmony. So what are we going to do about it? We choose resonance. We speak words of love. We pause to listen, and we align our hearts to Spirit's eternal song. So what we've discovered together this morning is simple, yet profound. Sacred resonance is always here. It is the divine vibration moving in and through everything, through sound, through silence, through each one of us. And though the noise of the world, the chatter of the mind, or the weight of even grief can sometimes make it hard to listen, the truth is that resonance never disappears. It waits patiently for us to pause, listen, and remember. So today we've named why this matters. We've acknowledged that we can get in the way. And we've committed to practice that brings us back to harmony. So I leave you with this. You are an instrument in the divine orchestra. Your life is a note in the symphony of God. And when you choose to live in resonance, to align your thoughts, words, and being with Spirit, you not only find peace within yourselves, but you help tune the world around you. Ravindra Shukla wrote, "When people of similar frequencies come together, output is not a simple sum of individual work, but exponential. In science, we term this phenomenon resonance. Output at this stage is beyond any logical limit. So imagine what's possible when a community resonates together, when each of us vibrates with peace and love and divine intention. The ripple effect, it goes far beyond what we can see. So may you walk from here today carrying the vibration of spirit in your heart, the resonance of love in your words, and the harmony of God in every step. So I want to close with this affirmation. I am attuned to the harmony of spirit. Every cell of my being resonates with divine love. And so it is. Thank you. Should I go into prayer now? So let us pray. In this sweet, sacred space at the Center for Spiritual Living in Prescott, God is right here. Sweet Spirit is right here. That divine love, that peace, that joy, that beauty that resonates in all that we are. Knowing that God is right here in this space, in this time, expressing as all that good, all that love, all those high vibration words that touch our heart and soul. God is right here, right now, and in each one of us. As we are divine expressions of that one God, we are one with God. That everything that we are, everything how we are in our life, we are expressing that divine sacred resonance. And part of that orchestra of life, that orchestra in the universe, as each one of us is that individual tone that comes together in this beautiful expression of life. And as we go on in our days, we resonate. We are in coherence with each other. We build that community together of love and peace and joy and support. That this community is built on that sacred resonance. That as we come together as each one of us, that individualized expression of God, we build something greater as we commune together. And I know that God is here. God is expressing. God is guiding. God is love. God is everywhere. And it is for us to tune in to that magical beauty, that sacred resonance, just like the geese flying overhead, just like our pets, just like the beautiful trees and the clouds and the sky. We are connected divinely through that sacred resonance. And we carry that forth in everyone that we meet, every person on our path that we share that resonance with. It is that powerful expression that brings us all together in divine community. And it is with great, great gratitude that we are here, that we are expressing, that we are sharing, that we are building something greater than ourselves. As it is as magical as those geese flying overhead. And with great, great gratitude, I release my words into the action of law, knowing that our words, my words, are absolutely true. I release the words into the law, knowing it is already done, that we are expressing as our divine tone in this orchestra of life. And I say yes to love, and I say yes to peace, and I say yes to harmony and joy and good and all that is great. And I let it go, and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.